as of 8 a.m. this morning. The country is currently operating on a slim generation reserve margin due to the unavailability of generation units and required high-voltage transmission lines to meet growing demand from restoration. Firm generation available, 190.5 megawatts. Forecasted peak, 180.5 megawatts. No renewable output available from solar and wind plants. The floating storage reclassification unit that supplies LNG is expected to dock on Friday, October 31st. This will restore natural gas supply to plants that burn gas as a primary fuel. Transmission, over 70% of transmission lines remain out of service due to the severe damage. Reconnaissance flights with the JDF will continue today to assess further damage. Distribution, over 52,000 customers were restored over the last 24 hours. Approximately 490,380 customers, 72% of the customer base is still without power. 70% of the distribution network is de-energized with only sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas, the main areas being served. Let me just note that I got a report that the entire St. Thomas is suffering from low voltage. So I asked JPS to look into that immediately. The highlights, if you can call it that: 8 major hospitals have been restored, including all major hospitals in Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, Spanish Town, now has power. We're working to restore 13 other major health clinics across the island. Power has been restored to the Norman Manley International Airport, and I just give you for clarity. Clarendon, totally out, 51,000 customers. Hanover, same, 16,466. KSA North, 96,000 customers, 25,000 without light. South, 60,091, only 3,946 have light. Portland, 23,000 customers, 19,000 without light. Portmore, 52,000, 31,000 without light. St. Anne, 46,000, all up without light. St. Catherine, 86,000, 50,000 without light. St. Elizabeth, 45,000, all out. St. James, 62,000, 61,000 without. St. Mary, 30,000, 29,000 without light. St. Thomas, 20,000, 4,657 without light. Trelawney, fully out at 20,712. Westmoreland, 34,000, all without light. So total customers out as of October 29th is 542,000, and customers restored over the last 24 hours, 52,000, leaving 490,000 without power. So we understand the frustration, we have the anxiety, but we ask for your patience. The Universal Service Fund in the Western region has 7 public Wi-Fi hubs and 112 community Wi-Fi hotspots. All are down due to hurricane damage, power loss, and ISP service disruption. In the interim, deployment of Starlink satellite-based internet systems to provide immediate broadband coverage in key communities while terrestrial infrastructure is restored. Installation of solar-powered hubs that can support Wi-Fi access and device charging for residents, enhancing community resilience and access to communication channels during restoration period. We all know how important communication is in a time like this. There are people who still have not been able to make contact with their families, their loved ones, their friends, and road access is still impossible. So you can imagine the deep, deep sense of worry that is widespread across Jamaica. Some good news: all 3 international airports are now open for relief supplies. We are expecting 9 flights. Cayman was the first this morning. Thank you again. And we expect 9 relief flights into Norman Manley. We expect 2 into Ian Fleming through American Airlines. And we also expect 2 into Montego Bay this afternoon with the operators of the airport, GAP, sending from Mexico 2 cargo jets with supplies and also, obviously, technical support for the airport. Better news, if we can call it that, Norman Manley International resumed operations this morning for commercial passenger, and we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 flights in and out of Jamaica today. We have Cayman Airways, Aerojet, American, 2 flights, Caribbean, Copa, Air Canada, JetBlue, Cayman. So Cayman would have 3 actually, and Copa would have 2. That's arrivals. And of course, those same flights will depart. So Norman Manley is back up for all intents and purposes and will continue. I'm expecting that Ian Fleming will also accommodate flights today, both relief and passenger flights. And as we know, the Montego Bay Airport is receiving relief, and I'm expecting to announce in a matter of hours the commercial operations limited to restart tomorrow. As I said before, in terms of the Montego Bay Airport, you have 2 terminals. Terminals with gates 1 to 7 had some roof damage and flood damage, so we will take those out of service and use 8 to 19, which should be more than sufficient based on the fact that we don't expect a large influx of flights outside of relief and obviously limited flights to come into Jamaica. So let's see what else I can give you. The regular aerodromes have some damage, but will be reopened. Telecommunications, very important. As of the 29th, Flow's telecommunication infrastructure is demonstrating resilience and readiness. Mobile emergency service, over 67,000 unique subscribers have utilized Starlink. SMS emergency service is available in the last 2 days. 30% of sites are operational island-wide. Urban areas showing better performance. Kingston 65%, St. Thomas 75%, St. Andrew 63%, and top mobile sites, 274 are up, 520 are down, which means 35% are up. The JUTC rolled out 175 buses this morning in the Kingston metropolitan area, Spanish Town and Portmore. Those buses are going to stay on the routes, the rural routes, West Rural and East Rural. The road conditions and damage are bad, so we're unable to get into those areas. And the Rural Express, JUTC Rural Express, will discontinue the Negril service until obviously access is accessible. I think it's important, Minister Dixon, that going forward on a daily basis we indicate to Jamaica which roads are open so people don't go trying to get to their loved ones and have to turn back. So I know work is being done, but it's important that we give that information on a regular basis so persons don't head out without being able to reach to their final destination with food and their loved one. As you said, the harbour master has given the go-ahead to reopen, and of course we're just waiting on the wharfs to do their checks to make sure that all is okay with that. JUTC and Montego Bay Metro, both are serving as best as possible. Obviously, Montego Bay St. James got a bad hit as well, so it will be limited service. But for JUTC, and we will be providing JUTC for relief efforts to go for families who want to get down there to help their loved ones. JUTC will be crafting something to assist in getting more people in one bus than having 5 or 6 cars trying to do the same thing. In closing, let me just say that everybody, every single citizen of Jamaica, to make time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, to just dedicate some prayers for those.